As usual, off the cuff, unscripted, and the regular chit chat. I was off the internet for a couple of days. I was simply without the internet, as a matter of fact. And I had about a little over 500 emails waiting for me. Many of them were people trying to get me to be a part of their religion or about political, about politics. Spam. I have since learned how to not get spam email. I simply block them. And a lot of them were about relationships. I had email from women all over the place, specifically from Jamaica, Ghana, and from one other country. I can't remember now. But they were all in search of the perfect relationship. So my advice to them, basically, almost always, is that if you're seeking the perfect person, you must first be the perfect person. It's amazing how imperfect people are in search of perfect people. Imperfect people are in search of perfect people. The other thing that I try to tell people is when you get into a relationship, one of the most important things to do is to become friends first. That's right. Be friends first. I have discovered that when people are friends, first of all, they can talk about anything at all. And the other thing is that they became friends on a level of reality, on a reality level. In other words, it was not based upon the facade, but on fact and who they were. And that usually lasts a long time. So when you're friends first, that'll usually last. Now, when it comes to intercourse, I think the best is that of conversation. When you're friends, you have real conversation. Whatever your concerns are, whatever your anxieties are, whatever is stressing you out, whatever your fantasy may be, if you're friends, then there's no judgment about your fantasies, your anxieties, about anything. You can discuss it freely because you're first friends first. So that's what I believe. When you can talk openly about any and every subject, that works. Now, I have discovered that in relationships, people will either grow together like that, or one will grow and the other will stagnate, or they will grow apart. Just about every relationship will fall into one of these three categories. And what happened is that different people deal with this situation differently. For example, older women, and if they're willing to talk to you and they're willing to be honest with you, will tell you that in their intimate moments, relationships, in their intimacy, they may be physically intimate, but in their mind, their fantasies elsewhere. That's how they cope with that fantasy. Because you got to remember that imagination is the greatest faculty of the mind. And for many women, they may be there physically doing what you expect them to do, but in their mind and emotionally they're elsewhere. That's their coping mechanism. So I just want to let you know that. For younger women, of course, they are still maintaining the fantasy of the ideal man. Or for younger men, they're maintaining the fantasy of the ideal woman. I got to tell you, ladies, that guy that you see that you consider to be the perfect guy, well, chances are that guy may be looking at another guy as the perfect guy. The point I'm trying to make is this, really. You need to approach a relationship. First of all, you have to be the perfect person if you want to be in a perfect relationship. Second of all, you have to be friends first. That is a fact. And third, conversation. Talk to each other. If you're friends, then you have no fear in talking to each other. And if you are already in a fantasy and your coping mechanism is in fact fantasy, well, if it works for you, fine. But it's not really the best way, is it? I mean, there you are being very intimate and your mind is elsewhere or with somebody else, if you know what I mean. So that's my advice. In a relationship, when you're friends first, you grow together. When you're not friends first, then one of you will be growing while the other one stagnates. And the relationships that is always bickering and fighting and that are always uncomfortable are the ones that eventually grow apart. The choice is yours. Think for yourself. And you have to determine whether you're going to be in a relationship or living in your fantasy while you're in a relationship.